What wide receiver would you prefer come to New England? Terry McLaurin or Jauan Jennings? And you have to trade and pay both. But let's start right there. Terry McLaurin, 6 seasons with the Commanders, entering year 7 in the league.
Yep.
A guy that's about to turn 30 coming up in September, 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons, coming off a career best in receiving touchdowns. That was second in the NFL. Wants to get paid. Now, not too long ago, he got a contract and extension, $53 million guaranteed.
Yep.
He is turning 29. That's the snag. He likely wants $55 to $60 million guaranteed in that ballpark because of his production. But he's unhappy right now. Would you like Terry McLaurin or Jauan Jennings? And I'll put you on the spot. Pick one in a Patriots uniform. You got to prioritize. Let's go with that.
If I have to pick one, it's scary Terry for me. But
That's a
I
no
felt
doubt.
like we, just to give Jennings a little bit of love, because you and I have actually talked about red zone, third down situations when it comes to the Patriots. That is a guy that would be very keen in helping out in that category. But I choose Scary Terry because you're adding in that deep threat where there's so many question marks in this wide receiving room, and you need that versatility, you need that accountability, and you would get that in a player as such. He has the veteran presence, he'll have a different kind of leadership voice. He'd be able to really kind of elevate Drake May's game to take that sophomore step that we're looking so closely at. And then you're also talking about someone who really helped a rookie in Jaden Daniels. So just consider how much of a help he can be to a Drake May and a system that's built for efficient offense. So I feel like between rhythm, cadence, skill set, the contested catches, all of these things, and being a viable deep threat for this team that can't really put their finger on one quite yet, it's just going to help this team really kind of solidify the argument of winning 7, 8, 9 games.
Look, if you want to trade for a Terry McLaurin, it'll cost you a second-round pick, I think, for the Patriots, and it's worth it. You're going to get 3 to 4 years of a highly productive receiver. That's what you hope to get with a second-round pick, let alone a day 2, day 3 pick. Yes, you'd have to pay him. You have the cap space. Now, they might try to roll it over, right? And that's a whole different conversation. Christian Gonzalez is coming up to get paid.
Yeah.
We know that Drake May, after that, will be coming up to get paid. They've had their issues with past drafts, but there are other picks that they've gotten as well that have to get paid. But those are the 2 top billing guys. But a Terry McLaurin, what he adds on the field, and he times out with the window of the rebuild. Again, he will be good for the next 3 to 4 years. In 2 to 3 years, that's when you're back to being legit contenders. And what he could pour into the development of Drake May, along with the Kyle Williams, he complements the receiving room. Kyle Williams is good underneath or downfield, but Stephon Diggs, Jalen Poole, Kendrick Bourne, Demario Douglas, all short yardage to medium depth of field receivers. Terry McLaurin's down the field, outside the numbers, outside the hashes. For an undersized guy, he's good at contested catches, is a dog in run blocks. He checks every box to be a Patriots receiver. He makes so much sense. And listen to him here. So he had a commercial shoot in the D.C. area yesterday, and he spoke with reporters as this contract negotiation continues, but it doesn't sound much like a negotiation. Check it out right here.
It has been disappointing. Going into this offseason, I thought there was going to be more progress. And, I know those discussions were there at the beginning. And, kind of since OTAs and minicamp, we haven't had any discussions. We haven't talked at all. And, that's tough, obviously with camp coming around the corner. And so I haven't thought that far yet to really see what's next in the standpoint of leaving or not, because I want to be here. I want to make that abundantly clear. Like, I really appreciate this fan base, this city. This place has become my home. I've poured a lot of myself and given everything that I can every single day since I've been here, through the wins, losses, good, bad. And, at the end of the day, you do want to feel valued and you do want to feel appreciated. And I think, how the market is today, it pretty much that conveys what guys of my caliber are deserving of. And I feel like I fit that in that box because of just how I've always carried myself on and off the field and the value I know I bring to a team. And I know I bring to my teammates, and I know that I bring to an organization. And, I don't want to put myself in a position to feel like you have to beg for somebody to see your worth and your value. You feel like you've put that out there year in, year out. Everything, previous regimes, and even now, I've done everything that's been asked of me. I'm not perfect at all. I've definitely made mistakes, but I've always led with the right foot. And I've tried to put myself in a position to be a person that can be valued and respected amongst his coaches and his teammates, but also be a dog on the field. I don't want to get that mistaken. I feel like I'm one of the best receivers in this league.
So you hear it right there. I like that. He was like, I'm expecting more progress. And what he shared further on, too, is like, it takes 2 to tango.
Right.
and I'm looking for my dance partner and they're just not calling. They are approaching training camp. And Terry McLaurin said too, he's like, I love it here. I don't want to leave, but he wants to get paid.
Yeah.
He knows how important he is to this team. He understands the window they're in. And for someone that was a great receiver at Ohio State, has been fantastic since he entered the league, since his rookie season, hasn't missed a game since 2020, is the team captain, and shows up every season and produces as one of the top receivers in the league. Yes, he's going to be 30 this upcoming season, but you want these guys to get paid. I understand it. You put your body on line. It's a violent game. He got $53 million guaranteed. I'm totally with him getting another 55 to 60 because he's put his literal body and life on the line playing for the Commanders. He wants that appreciation back.
Yeah.
And he said it too. He's like, I hear every day my value, what I mean to this team. Everyone says it. Cool. That's awesome. Eventually, there is a number to put next to that value.
Yeah.
And Terry McLaurin wants that, and I understand it.
Yeah, eventually the compliments are not enough. And when you've got a legend such as Jerry Rice running around saying that you are an intangible, you want that to reflect in the contract and in the contract negotiations. And there was actually an article that tried to make it seem as if his agent could be part of the factor in this stalemate situation that's taking place, but I don't think that's the case. You and I actually just talked about Garrett Wilson getting paid by the Jets the other day and how that's going to shift the market and what the timeline on that market shift is going to be. Well, you're talking about very crucial timing in terms of like them announcing the pay that Wilson's getting, and then you're looking at Terry being in this standoff with the Washington Commanders, while there's other teams that are like, hey, we see your value and we can actually put a number to that value and move this process along much quicker. So the other thing that I'd point out is that Kay Adams on her show was mentioning the fact that there are texts going about rumor trades, potentially maybe the Commanders shopping this guy. And if that's also something that's taking place, then if I'm him, I want to talk to other teams and move on, because then you're just talking about another discredit to the value that they like to compliment you with verbally, but can't get sorted and situated. And I feel like he was a huge pillar in what this team did well last year. We already talked about that, him and Jaden Daniels. But to be in this late in the summer, I think that it would be hopeful to think that there's probably a team that's going to show his value a little bit quicker.
I like that you point out to Jerry Rice when he says the intangible, because how can we talk about when you put numbers and you put a value in it? Intangibles matter in a locker room. It matters in sports. It matters in any teammate type setting you have. It could be a normal job. It could be in professional sports. The intangibles do matter, the type of leader you are. You talk to people in DC and you talk to people around the league, it is known not just how revered, respected, loved he is in that locker room, but how much of a quality human being he is. And again, so I'm looking at this from the Patriots' perspective. If I'm Mike Vrabel and everything I talk about is culture, respecting the team, how much that matters, the leaders you have, not just the coaches, but the players, Terry McLaurin is a guy I'm banging the door down. And I'm fighting to make the numbers make sense to get him in the building in one Patriot place. That would be a day 2 pick, second or third rounder. That would likely be players as well. You'd have to move someone good, maybe like a Kendrick Bourne, right? And maybe someone younger like a Demario Douglas. But if you believe in a Jalen Polk, if you believe in a Stephon Diggs, you wouldn't miss those guys. Because again, it's building the best room possible. It would be moving pieces like that. Maybe someone on the defensive side, someone young and promising. But this offense needs help at receiver. And again, when you're establishing a culture as a first-year head coach, this is the stuff that matters.
Oh, 100%. And I think that something to add to the intangible conversation of it is the way that him and Drake May can kind of bring this offense even further than up to speed. And I think that just because of all the things that he's gone through in Washington, the different head coaches, the different identities, all of these things, he could be a quality voice and being such an impactful player and making sure that he finds the rhythm that's going to make this team successful with a Drake May. And another reason I lean towards Terry over this is, like, you're talking about a Drake May that's been compared to Josh Allen and a few other quarterbacks, but let's just say that the ceiling's quite high for where he should land within his career. And he's kind of in that top 15, top 20 conversation of having a quality release on the ball. And you also want to make sure that he has weapons that can match that. I know we talk so much about tempo, but I'm kind of bouncing off the conversation you and I had on Foxborough Rush. And if you were to kind of go with a Jennings, you're talking about a slower receiver, even though he is impactful, but somebody who probably might take more time to find a rhythm with a Drake May. So that's something else where you've got McLaurin that has a an edge here in the conversation. And then, of course, I geeked out and I was like, well, what do his numbers look like to make sure that this whole Patriots can dance at that number 2 spot of the AFC East? Well, he's somebody that can help that jump off the page a little bit further. He has had 100+ yard performances versus each team through 2 games for the most part within the AFC East, showing how quickly he'd be able to produce. Exactly.
And this is, Jauan Jennings would be a wide receiver 2 at best on most offenses. He has one good year.
Right.
And this was this past season. 77 catches, 975 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. Big body, 6'3", 212. Plays like Anquan Bolden. Is 2 years younger, right? So that's in favor of the Patriots. Would cost less with a contract and a trade. He'd be, I think, a 4th-round pick, and then you got to pay him. Maybe a 3rd, maybe a future 3rd. We'll go with that. Terry McLaurin, though, that's a number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
That's an elite number 1 guy that forces offensive coordinators to game plan around.
Yes.
Patriots don't have that. They were in the market, and they were pushing, apparently, to get DK Metcalf, right? They end up going to Pittsburgh, and in return, obviously, Seahawks got a worse draft pick. And, you know, Pittsburgh Steelers had not a quarterback in their spot, not as many syllables as Massachusetts. Weather isn't as good. I don't want to get into all that. But if they're in pursuit of Jauan Jennings, you have to be in pursuit of Terry McLaurin because he's a better receiver.
Yeah.
And, excuse me, if you're in pursuit of DK Metcalf, you have to be in pursuit of Terry McLaurin. He's a better receiver than DK. May not look it on the field like DK Metcalf is a specimen, but Terry McLaurin, all-around receiver, is great. If Terry McLaurin's not moving, and if the 49ers are in a stalemate with the Jauan Jennings, you have to pick up the phone. The 49ers need to figure out their cap space. They need draft capital. They're doing that soft reset like we saw the Bills do this last season. Jauan Jennings, again, is a guy, good run blocker, good downfield receiver, good possession receiver, smart, and playing in a West Coast offense like in San Fran, he would make an immediate impact for the New England Patriots, and he does elevate the offense. Not as fun of a name as Terry McLaurin, but elevates this offense.
Yeah, I think either way you're going to help elevate this wide receiving room because I feel like for the most part you look at it and nothing really jumps off and screams, oh my gosh, this is going to be very competitive.
Yeah.
But there's some hope in what Stefon Diggs could be when he returns and what some of these young guys could be. And we love the underdog narrative, especially when it comes to Patriot football, because they've done so well with it. But I think just having that instant accountability in a wide receiver is something that you just want to make sure you have moving forward because the narrative is there for everything else. The hope, the excitement around Mike Vrabel and this entire team moving forward. Having that wide receiver you know you can 100% count on for the most part, that's the next big jump I think this team needs. Wait, so I didn't ask you.
Terry McLaurin's number 1. Then you go Jauan Jennings number 2. I think they do need to add a receiver in some avenue, but it could also be they, again, go with their timeline and they do the slow rebuild, continue to pour draft assets into it. Because I always compare it, the Minnesota Vikings with Jalen Naylor, Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson. It's 3 different drafts. They built out the receiving room.
Right.
Cincinnati Bengals, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Andre Osavashi. Because you still wait to be see if he pans out. 3 different drafts.
Yeah.
Houston Texans, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. Different drafts. You go around the league, all these teams, it's different drafts where they built out their team.
Yeah.
And that all adds up eventually. You have to do it that way. But right now, the Patriots are not in a place where they can rely on the draft alone. They need to go out and add talent now. And when you get a guy like Terry McLaurin in your building, he doesn't just help a Kyle Williams, but he helps a fill in the blank down the road. The next rookie receiver you bring in, mentoring them and teaching them the game. That's what matters. And again, that's where it comes in the intangibles, as Jerry Rice says, as Mike Vrabel says, that's when it matters. So we'll see. 2nd round pick, pay him, I would do it in a heartbeat.
A heartbeat.
Scary Terry McLaurin with Drake May. He looked good in a Patriots uniform too.
He would, and he'd be celebrated here.